Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. The Israel Defense Forces says it shot down a manned fighter jet in Iran with an F-35 aircraft. More than 100 people missing after a suspected submarine attack on an Iranian vessel off Sri Lanka. At least 30 rescued from the sinking ship. Finland's President Alexander Stubb arrives in New Delhi on a 4-day visit to India to be the chief guest at Raisina dialogue. South Africa and New Zealand lock horns in the first semi-final of the ICC T20 World Cup at Eden Gardens. Proteas aim to extend their perfect run as Kiwis seek redemption. And Holi, the festival of colours, is being celebrated today. President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi extend greetings. Israel's military said it launched a broad wave of strikes on targets in Iran after the Islamic Republic fired rounds of missile barrages at Israeli territory. In the past 24 hours, hundreds of fighter jets and aircraft have been striking hundreds of targets simultaneously in Iran and Lebanon. Israel also hit the covert Minzadehi compound that was used by a group of nuclear scientists who operated to develop a key component for a nuclear weapon. The Israeli military also said it had deployed troops to several locations in southern Lebanon in what it described as a forward defense measure along the border. Israel's military says it has shot down an Iranian fighter jet over Tehran using an F-35 stealth fighter. The Israeli army spokesperson, Brigadier General Efi Defrin, said the aircraft was downed by an F-35, marking what he described as the world's first air-to-air kill by the advanced fighter against a manned jet.
Good morning. Today we will complete the first 100 hours of Operation Roaring Lion. With that, the opening stage of the operation will be complete, a stage that included the elimination of most of the regime's leadership, achieving aerial superiority over Iran's sky, and the destabilization and hits to most of the regime's core areas. A short while ago, Adir fighter jet shot down an Iranian fighter jet over Iran's sky, over Tehran's sky. This is the world's first shoot-down of a manned fighter jet by F-35 fighter jet.
Meanwhile, Iran has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and more than 2,000 drones in retaliatory attacks so far, as per reports. Israel intercepted missiles over Jerusalem, West Bank and Tel Aviv. The Central Intelligence Agency's station at the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia was also hit. The embassy, which is located in the Saudi capital of Riyadh, is among the U.S. sites that have been hit so far in the conflict. Washington, D.C.'s mission in the kingdom subsequently warned Americans to avoid the embassy until further notice because of an attack on the facility. Russia accused the United States on Wednesday of using an imaginary threat from Iran as a pretext to overthrow its constitutional order. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said the U.S. had used negotiations with Iran as a cover to disguise a plan for regime change.
There is no doubt that the so-called Iranian threat, which has been repeatedly described for many years, was merely a pretext for carrying out a long-planned scheme to forcibly overthrow the constitutional, I stress, government of a sovereign state deemed undesirable by Washington and Tel Aviv a state that is, I repeat, a member of the United Nations, and the renewed negotiation process served as a cover operation.
Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Wednesday doubled down on his opposition to the attack on Iran by the US and Israel, warning that the conflict risks playing Russian roulette with the lives of millions.
We must learn from history and cannot play Russian roulette with the fate of millions of people. The powers involved in this conflict must immediately cease hostilities and commit to dialogue and diplomacy. And the rest of us must act consistently, defending now the same values that we defend when we talk about Ukraine, Gaza, Venezuela, or Greenland. Because the question is not whether or not we are in favor of the Ayatollahs. No one is. Certainly not the Spanish people, and of course not the Spanish government either. The question, rather, is whether or not we are on the same side of international law and therefore of peace.
Y por tanto, de la paz.
US President Donald Trump threatened to impose a full US trade embargo on Spain after the European and NATO ally refused to let the US military use its bases for missions linked to the strikes on Iran.
Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
The International Atomic Energy Agency says damage has been detected at 2 buildings near Iran's Isfahan nuclear site, but there is no threat of a nuclear or radiological incident. Taking to social media platform X, the IAEA said, based on analysis of latest available satellite imagery, IAEA sees no damage to facilities containing nuclear material in Iran and therefore no radiological release risk at this time. Near Isfahan nuclear site, damage is visible at 2 buildings. No additional impact detected at Natanz after previously reported damage at entrances, and no impact at other nuclear sites, including Bushehr NBB. DG Rafael Mariano Grossi reiterates call for maximum restraint to help avoid any danger of radiological incident, unquote. 2 Greek frigates, the Kimon and Sara, arrived in Cyprus on Wednesday. The deployment comes after drones struck the British Royal Air Force base in Akrotiri on the island days earlier, prompting a regional defense military response from European allies. Both frigates were seen off the port of the southern city of Limassol near the British airbase. The Sara is equipped with a Centaurus anti-drone jamming system used previously against Houthi attacks off Yemen. Greece has also sent 4 F-16 fighter jets to the island. Cypriot officials said that France is also sending anti-missile and anti-drone systems as well as a frigate. At least 101 people are reported missing and 78 others injured after a suspected submarine attack on an Iranian naval vessel off Sri Lanka's southern coast. According to agency reports citing Sri Lankan Navy sources, a distress call was received from the Iranian frigate IRIS Dana, which reported technical difficulties about 40 nautical miles off the coast of Galle. Sri Lankan naval vessels were immediately dispatched to the area to assist in rescue operations. Many of the injured Iranian naval personnel were brought ashore, with 32 admitted to the Karapetia Teaching Hospital for treatment. Hospital authorities say that 1 rescued crew member remains in a critical condition, while others have sustained moderate to minor injuries. Search and rescue operations are continuing as efforts intensify to locate those still missing at sea. The exact cause of the incident remains unclear, although initial reports suggest that the vessel may have come under attack. Nepal is set to vote on 5th March in a high-stakes election. The election comes months after mass protests reshaped the country's political landscape and brought in an interim government. With nearly 19 million eligible voters, including 800,000 first-time voters, the outcome could determine Nepal's direction at a critical crossroads. DD India's Siddharth Bharadwaj reports from Kathmandu.
I'm standing here in Kathmandu, where Nepal is gearing up for crucial elections on 5th of March. After months of political turmoil and historic leadership changes, the voters are preparing to decide the country's next chapter.
Come March 5, Nepal will go to the polls. These elections mark the first national vote since violent protests rocked the Himalayan Republic in September 2025. The significance of these polls remains high, as they will decide the future direction of the country. In fact, the youth are expected to play a pivotal role in determining who will lead the nation at a major political crossroads. On September 8, Nepal witnessed widespread protests across the country. It all began after the government imposed a ban on social media sites, citing that tech companies had failed to meet the deadline to register under new guidelines. The ban angered the country's youth, who took to the streets. However, the protests later evolved into an anti-corruption movement, ultimately resulting in the toppling of the KP Sharma Oli government. On September 12, 2025, Nepal saw history in the making when former Chief Justice Sushila Karki was sworn in as interim Prime Minister, becoming the first woman to hold the top post. According to official data, nearly 19 million Nepalis are eligible to vote, including 800,000 first-time voters. The country is divided into 7 provinces: Kosi Province, Madhesh Province, Bagmati Province, Gandaki Province, Lumbini Province, Karnali Province, and Sudur Paschim Province. Key political parties contesting the election include the RSP, Congress, UML, NCP, RPP, PSPN, Janamat, and UNP, along with several other smaller parties. The main contenders are a mix of veteran leaders and fresh faces, from former Prime Minister and leader of the Communist Party UML, KP Sharma Oli, to Nepali Congress leader Gagan Thapa, and 35-year-old Balendra Shah, one of the most talked about figures in this election. A former rapper and civil engineer, Shah rose to prominence as a popular mayor of Kathmandu. With a mixed electoral system in the country, voters will elect 275 members of parliament through a combination of first-past-the-post voting and proportional representation. The key issues driving the vote are corruption, jobs in the economy, foreign relations, climate concerns, and local governance.
The people of Nepal are looking forward to voting in the upcoming elections with great hope. The country's next government will determine much about its future, including its political direction, foreign policy, especially in relation to its neighbors. With camera person Vishnu Bandhu, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Kathmandu, Nepal.
The Raisina Dialogue, India's premier conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, will begin on Thursday. The event will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi along with Finland's President Alexander Stubb. Organized by the Observer Research Foundation in partnership with the Ministry of External Affairs, the 3-day event brings together global leaders, policymakers, industry experts, and journalists. Prominent speakers include Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar and U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau. The theme of this year's Raisina Dialogue is Samskara, Assertion, Accommodation, Advancement. A civilizational tool, Samskara is a statement of continuity. The President of Finland, Dr. Alexander Stubb, arrived in India on a 4-day visit. Upon his arrival, the President of Finland, Stubb, being welcomed with a guard of honor. President Stubb will be the chief guest and keynote speaker at the 11th Raisina Dialogue 2026 in New Delhi. This will be the first visit of President Stubb to India in his present capacity. During the visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Alexander Stubb will hold discussions on strengthening bilateral cooperation across a wide spectrum of areas. They will also exchange perspectives on regional and global issues of mutual interest, including cooperation in multilateral fora. President Stubb will meet President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. India and Finland share warm, friendly and multifaceted relations rooted in shared democratic values. Finland is a valued partner for India in the European Union and the Nordic region. India warmly welcomed the Minister of Foreign Affairs and External Trade of Bhutan, Leongpo Dien Dongyal, who arrived in India on Wednesday to participate in the 11th Raisina dialogue in New Delhi. India-Bhutan partnership is founded on deep mutual trust, enduring friendship and goodwill. His visit is expected to further strengthen bilateral cooperation and impart renewed momentum to the close and long-standing ties between the two countries. Millions of people are celebrating Holi, the festival of colors, in India and around the world on Wednesday. Foreign leaders extend Holi greetings, celebrating cultural unity. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese highlighted that Holi is a time for people of Hindu and South Asian heritage to come together in celebration of shared history, heritage and traditions. New Zealand's Prime Minister Christopher Luxon wished citizens a happy Holi, noting the festival's message of community and cultural harmony. Thousands of kilometers away from home, the colors of India come alive in Wellington, New Zealand, as the Indian diaspora there gathers for a traditional Holika Dahan and colorful Holi celebration. Take a look.
Happy Holi! Amid sacred flames and vibrant colors, the spirit of India travels across oceans to light up Wellington. Let's take a look at the Holi celebrations right in the heart of New Zealand. With every splash of color, families, friends and cultures come together to celebrate joy and the triumph of good over evil. These playful streaks of gulal and warm embraces definitely brought Indian diaspora closer to home and to traditions. Let's hear what this festival means to them.
It is an absolutely miserable day today, but regardless, we are having so much fun here in the wind, and all the colors are all blowing everywhere, which means that all of our past sins are being blown away. So we're very pleased about the day, the colors, the people have come out to enjoy. And I think it really brings out the true spirit of the community, that they really believe that Holi is all about the people, the year that has gone past, and making sure that the year ahead is prosperous.
We are in New Zealand. First of all, happy Holi to everybody. Well, this festival is for color and happiness. And here we gather together, everyone, all the caste, all the people, a lot of color, and then we celebrate proper Holi here. And we don't feel like we are not in India. We feel like we are in India, but we're creating a lot of relation here and we're praying. This is the Holi for me.
The spirit is really high, and the way we do Holi is really amazing. We do the Holika Dahan as well. We play with the colors. Today it's really windy, it's kind of rainy, but we don't care. We're still out here playing. I got my friends from all different countries. I have friends from Britain, my friends from America. We're all playing together and we're introducing them to the Indian culture. So I think that's the special thing about doing Holi in Wellington is we don't care, rain or shine, we will still celebrate.
With these colors flying all around, India's timeless traditions continue to glow everywhere. This is Soumya Sharma from Wellington for DD India.
In South Africa, members of the diaspora and local South Africans gathered to celebrate the vibrant festival of Holi, a tradition symbolizing renewal, unity and the triumph of good over evil. For South Africans of Indian descent, the festival reflects a heritage sustained across generations and expresses through culture, faith and community life.
Music and tradition fills the air as the Indian diaspora in South Africa celebrates Holi, the festival of colors. South Africa is home to a large and deeply rooted Indian diaspora community that continues to preserve cultural traditions while contributing to the country's diverse identity.
Well, Nazreen, as you can see, we're in the south of Joburg and we're having a phenomenal community night tonight. Holi, of course, Holi celebration. Happy Holi to everyone. And it's just such a vibrant atmosphere. We've got dance groups performing. We've got Bollywood going on. We've got a DJ tonight. We have food stalls out here and everybody is just in a vibrant, festive spirit. And just to say, Happy Holi!
These celebrations highlight the living heritage, blending ancestral customs with a distinctly South African experience. At the heart of the celebration is the Holi fire, also known as Holika Dan. Community members gathered to light the ceremonial fire, symbolizing the burning away of negativity and the victory of righteousness. Families offered prayers, walked around the fire, and shared blessings for prosperity, unity, and renewal. Values that resonate strongly within diaspora communities, maintaining traditions across generations.
South Africa celebrating same like India, like our home country, India. Indian people celebrate like what, faith, emotion. Same, we people here celebrate all function, and today special we celebrate Holi. Happy Holi, happy Holi, happy Holi, happy Holi, everybody happy Holi.
Beyond its symbolic meaning, Holi has evolved into a cultural gathering, welcoming people of all backgrounds. Music, traditional foods, and joyful color throwing brought together young and old in a shared celebration of heritage and harmony.
Hey guys, we from Surat. We feel like home, the energy, the vibe is same like India. Mopi, happy Holi.
We here celebrating Holi in South Africa and in Johannesburg South. We try our best to keep our Indian culture and heritage alive.
Happy Holi!
What's up everybody, we having a party. What's up everybody, we having a party.
For DD India South Africa, I'm Nazneen, celebrating culture, color and community. Happy Holi!
Holi was also celebrated with enthusiasm at India House in Colombo today, with officials and staff of the High Commission of India in Sri Lanka participating in the festivities. The celebration reflected India's rich cultural traditions and the spirit of unity and harmony associated with Holi. Diplomats and their families exchanged greetings, applied colors and shared traditional sweets, creating a vibrant and festive atmosphere at the Indian diplomatic residence. To sports news now, the semi-finals of the ICC T20 World Cup are here and the excitement is at its peak. In the first semi-final, South Africa will take on New Zealand at Eden Gardens in Kolkata on Wednesday. South Africa have been one of the strongest teams in the tournament so far. The Proteas are unbeaten, making them the only team with a 100% win record across both the group stage and the Super 8s. The team will now be aiming to continue their winning streak and book a place in the final. New Zealand, on the other hand, have had a mixed campaign. Despite some ups and downs, they managed to secure a spot in the last four. The Kiwis will be eager to take revenge for their earlier loss to South Africa and reach the final once again after finishing up runners-up in 2021. Looking at the head-to-head record, South Africa have the upper hand. Out of 19 T20 matches between the two teams, South Africa have won 12, while New Zealand have won 7. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. You can get the latest news on the DD India mobile app on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code to download it. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran from all of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.